Up next is our weekly Wealth Creation Through Property feature. Now, have you ever thought about immigrating, but the whole process just feels too complicated, drawn out and costly? Well, Quinton Haddon, an offshore property investment expert, explains just how easy it is for you and your family to obtain residency in most international countries through an offshore property investment program. Quinton, welcome to All About Property.
Thank you for having me, Cornelius. Pleasure.
Now, obtaining a residency visa through an offshore property investment seems to be quite the trend at the moment.
Yeah.
It also looks like a much easier way of obtaining that visa. Talk to us about this process. How does it actually work?
So there's qualifications that you need to meet. Firstly, there's a minimum threshold, and that varies depending on the country. But it typically starts off with the Golden Visa program at around about 350,000 euros, up to 500,000 euros, depending on the type of property that you're purchasing. That will then qualify you for a residency visa in that country. Okay. And literally you need to spend as little as 7 days a year within the country to keep that valid. You retain that for a period of about 5 years, and once that 5 years is expired, then you qualify for citizenship within that country. On the EB5 side of things, which is the US citizenship, depending on where you're investing, the minimum value is about $1 million into a property investment company, or you create your own company, which historically has been the way to go about it, but that's a challenging option for South Africans.
Yes.
If you're investing into an area where there's an economic need because there's high unemployment rates or the type, the thresholds drop to $500,000 US. The money needs to be invested at risk into a property investment company or similar. You qualify for a green card visa within 6 months. The money remains invested for about 5 years. Thereafter, you qualify for a permanent residency visa, or what we understand as the green card.
When you say the money requires to be invested for a minimum of 5 years, does that mean after 5 years you can uninvest and still remain a citizen?
If you look, yes, absolutely. If you invest into nominated regional centres through a representative company that has a relationship with a property investment company, you invest your money into that property investment company. Your investment translates to effectively 10 to 15 people that you're employing.
Okay.
And the money needs to remain invested with that company for the minimum of 5 years.
Okay.
But at the end of that, depending on the program that you invest in, but certainly the ones that we've partnered with, the company will, to put it in layman's terms, essentially buy you out at a nominated return, anywhere from 4 to 6% return. So your money remains invested for the period. You get your qualification through the green card program, and then you get a return on your capital investment at the back end, having secured the permanent residency within the United States, as an example.
So let's say people decide that they want to remain in South Africa. Are there still other benefits to obtaining this residency visa through a property investment program?
Absolutely, and that's one of the key benefits of the property investment route. So it's a lot more affordable. I think we've touched on that. There's ownership of an asset, property being a historically very stable asset, which can be also income generating. But also, there's no requirement for you to up sticks and emigrate immediately, which if you were going the visa through work or the visa through employment route, you'd have to go and do, obviously. The Golden Visa stipulates a minimum of 7 days within that country. Similarly for the States, you have to go visit those countries to obviously choose the property you want to purchase, go through the immigration process and interview process in the States. But once you have your relevant visa, there's no requirement for you to immediately immigrate over there. So a lot of our investors use it as a sort of a plan B, a backstop. We need to have a plan B just in case. And it's more affordable. It's an investment as opposed to purchasing residency. But I can then do things at my own pace. I can sell my business. I can sell property here without it needing to be a fire sale, for example. Or I have to get out of here. I'm going to leave it to whoever is here to look after my affairs. And that's one of the key attractions that we see is we can take our time. We can control the process a lot more than if I had to go and find a job, get over to Australia and start working. which is the requirement through that route.
And I would imagine that it also makes international travel much easier.
Well, certainly with the Schengen visa, yes, you have access to the entire Schengen region, which is most of Europe, and you don't even need to carry a passport. Obviously you need your passport, but there's no passport control or anything along those lines. Once you get your green card and your US status, that's a passport that allows you access to much of the world that's visa-free. So for South Africans, that's a big attraction.
What's the waiting period until I have that visa in my hand?
You can get the permanent residency visa within a matter of months once the property's been purchased.
Which brings me to my next question. You represent Penbridge Offshore,
correct,
which is the company that helped people with this entire process.
Yes, yeah.
Talk to me about your offering and what does it all entail?
So what we try to do at Penbridge is to bring a little bit more of a holistic approach to it, where we'll sit down with a client who has an aspiration to look offshore in terms of residency or citizenship through investment, and we'll identify the needs that they have, the desires, the aspirations, and then try our best to put the correct solution in front of them. Okay. And we have relationships with all of these various programs through third-party service providers who we know, we trust, and we've worked with for some time. And once we've identified what we think is the right solution for the client, and the client is happy, we'll then introduce them to that service provider who holds their hand through the entire process. Our vendors will take them on tours, we'll show them properties that are correctly valued, we'll then take them through the purchase process, we'll handle the introduction to the relevant conveyances, setting up of bank accounts, we'll go through the application process with the relevant immigration department to get the correct visas in place. We'll manage the process until such time as the permanent residency or citizenship is in place. And that for me is almost a must.
Now, Quentin, just in closing, any last thoughts as to why South Africans should consider obtaining a residency visa through a property investment program?
Yeah. The beauty of the residency through property investment is, yes, you're getting the benefits of future citizenship or residency in those countries, but it's through investment. You're getting a return on the investment. If it's a property purchase, it's somewhere you can go on holiday and live in, but it's also something you can rent out, get an income through that property. If it's through the EB5 program, it's money that's being invested in property investment companies that give you a return. So it's not a case of you're buying, which the old traditional method of putting your money into a government program, that money's gone. You get your citizenship, but you've bought it, and you can write that money off. Certainly through these residency, through property investment programs, there's a return on capital, there's a return on investment, alongside the fact that at the back end, you've got citizenship of that country.
Well, Quentin, lovely chatting to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cornelius. I appreciate it.